Hi folks, hope you're okay today. It's good to be with you. I just want to finish off my series on free speech and Hyde Park Speaker's Corner, part 3. And I finished off talking about that our nation is crumbling. But I want to bring in the next heart of the matter is the church. Today, the church is... Oh, by the way, my website's jasonburnspreacher.com. You can get me on Facebook and you can get me on Twitter. Just type in Jason Burns Preacher Twitter and I should come up. I just want to talk about free speech and Speaker's Corner, Hyde Park, and in relation to the church. Our nation is crumbling at the very foundation, and I've gone into some reasons why that is. Our nation has basically rejected God and lost its Christian foundations. But at the heart of it, the reason, the core of it to be blamed is the church. We have bishops in the House of Lords who are effeminate, weaklings who won't, spineless jellyfish that won't speak out and stand up for biblical truth. And that has been going on in our British culture for at least over 100 years, where we've had bishops in the House of Lords who are basically just spineless, effeminate, kind of jellyfish kind of leaders that really are not holding to 1 Timothy and 2 Timothy, being strong gospel ministers, but just weaklings who just buckle to whatever the politicians are saying and to whatever the culture is saying, rather than saying, no, we will stand on the Word of God and we will preach the gospel. And on top of this, not only the Anglican Church, but the mainline denominations and the Evangelical Church has become apostate. And there's no words for it, but we have become apostate. Now, there's still a remnant, there's still millions of Christians in this country that are biblical and following the Lord, but generally speaking, the mainline denominations and even modern evangelicalism is becoming apostate. We don't see muscular Christianity where there are men preaching the word of God, standing for the gospel in the pulpits of our land. We don't see people like John Knox. We don't see people like Jonathan Edwards, George Whitefield and Wesley. We don't see real men of God proclaiming the word of God like a John Calvin or a Luther in our pulpits. We have these effeminate vicars. We have these wishy-washy postmodern vicars and pastors and leaders and these modern cultural trendy evangelicals, but we don't have men who are made of iron and steel and who will stand up for the word of God in this land. And because the trumpet doesn't give a certain sound and it's uncertain, our culture has collapsed into the situation that we're in today. So until the church rediscovers the Bible, until the church rediscovers sound doctrine, until the church gets back to being a national church, then we're lost. So it's the church that is the problem. The church has to reform and get back to the Bible and not to culture, get back to the Bible and make a stand for the gospel and biblical truth, and then free speech will be preserved. But because the Christian faith has collapsed in our country and in Western culture, it's being filled with a vortex of political correctness, Islamization, and all sorts of other things that are not bringing peace in our nation, but are going to bring division and even civil war. So the church needs to wake up and take responsibility.